Do you know why they call it crazy glue? Because the guy who invented it didn't patent it, got no money, and the grief drove him insane. And instead of holding his arms with a straitjacket, they held his arms with crazy glue, his own crazy glue. Locusts. Locusts are only tough when they're in groups. You know, when they're alone, they're virtual cowards. Do you know what happens when a science teacher falls and hits his head on the curb? He becomes a janitor. This kid, well, she's a girl really. She goes to my swimming pool and she has false teeth. I found them when I was diving for pucks. She's 5 and she has false teeth, and she can't eat meat. You know why? Because she's a vegetarian. You know what's in wieners? Well, there's cow's eyes and dog's heads and old phone books and, of course, wiener flavor. On my vacation, I went to Washington State and had a really fabulous time, thank you. Have you ever been to Mammal World and seen the 300 kinds of mammal bones and then driven on the highway to that restaurant that echoes? How much do you think my head weighs? Like, if I weighed it on the scale, you know, if the angle was right? Now, if my head were veal, which I know it is not, if my head were veal, how much would it be worth? There's this kid in my class, and she lives on her own without any parents or guardians, and she's 8. And she took the number off her house so the cops can't find her to take her to jail. And also, she took off the mailbox so they can't send her a letter to say she's in trouble and has to go to jail. And like I say, she's 8. These guys smoke. Yeah, and they're real bad. And you know what? They taught a dog to smoke. Do you believe that? Yeah, well, it's true. And they taught him to beg for cigarettes, door to door. These guys sure smoked. Mosquitoes only live for one day, you know? So if they skipped breakfast, I guess they had a bad childhood. I did witness something horrific and unlawful. A guy who leaks. You might not notice at first unless you had him under surveillance, as I do. Then you would see him leak from his arms, his elbows, and his knees. I have read that if you were to melt people down and sell their component parts, they would only be worth 87 cents. It's gotta be a pretty weird store though. Okay, I gotta go. I'm in the middle of a big race.